Hey everyone, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad, and today we're going to be playing some Marlynn. So we have some spicy new technology that I'm going to try to borrow from Nate here in the form of saltwater souls. If you remember way back in the day, I think I was actually the first person to suggest running saltwater swell into gravy, which is pretty cool. Big fan of this card, just like both mechanically and from like a design, like just everything. I love everything about this card. This might be one of like my favorite cards from High Seas, so I'm very excited to try to play it again. The reason we haven't been running it is mostly just because it's very inconsistent. So it's almost like sometimes you can think of this as almost like a -2, like it's almost like an energy potion since it gains you 2 resources. That being said, you do have to kind of gamble. So if you're not getting the 2 resources, then you're just playing a 1 for 3 vanilla, which is pretty bad, but it is block 3. I don't know. I love everything about this card. This card is like one of my probably favorite cards to come out of High Seas. It's very, very cool. Especially like the blue ones, I think are like a little bit less cool, but the red one especially, I think is really, really cool. So yeah, excited to try to play that today. And again, I'm borrowing this from Nate, and Nate's been doing a lot of cooking on his own. So we're gonna steal some ideas for this video, but not maybe not all the ideas until I get really a chance to test them yet. But yeah, I want to try this false today, and then I also wanted to kind of experiment a little bit with the sideboard today. So I think Nate's doing like some AB6 nonsense into Asilio. I want to see if I can try to like get away with like AB3, and I've also actually cut quick dodge plus trench to kind of make a little bit of more sideboard room for that. I do still really like the mutinies on the board just to kind of help. One for fat decking, and two to also kind of help in the gravy matchup, and I did Olympia as well. Like there are a lot of like actually pretty good matchups that I think Battalion Bark is pretty sweet in. So I kind of like leaving the board as is. But yeah, that's just my personal preference. Again, Nate's list I think is also pretty well refined as well, so you can go ahead and take his word for it too. I haven't actually gotten a ton of chance to kind of practice Marlynn lately. But yeah, we're going to be kind of just experimenting with this list. And before we get into the video, I did actually want to include one thing. So if you want to send me any Marlynn clips, I will review them on stream or on video at some point for free, basically. So if you ever wanted Marlynn coaching, please send me your clips. I generally try to lean this towards people who are like just learning the deck for the first time, or people who are like struggling with the deck. But if you like find like a really interesting game and you're also like a seasoned player, we can go ahead and review that as well. Maybe a little mix is good. But yeah, send me your VODs either on just like, please record them on OBS just because like Talishar, I think it's a little bit harder to kind of parse. But yeah, send me your VODs on Discord or in the Flesh and Bad Discord channel, and I'll be sure to kind of compile them and we can make some fun videos out of them. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the games. All right, funny thing to note also about Talishar is that they added this funny like mastery thing. So I am officially on 0 games of Marlynn. So let's see if we can actually up our mastery a little bit this recording. How much? So it's 5 games until okay, so I don't even have to win. I just have to play games. Okay, that should be easy. All right, let's go ahead and get in. Okay, we have the gravy matchup. We win the die roll. Very good. Then let's go ahead and choose the gravy board. So I think I kind of am torn on about like New Horizons in this matchup now that we're not running like endless and stuff. But the nice part is like a lot of gravies will actually like still end up fatiguing, which is kind of cool. I'm gonna bring in the mutinies. I don't actually know what I want to cut for them yet though. Could even cut like a Taya plus like a Golda tip or something. That seems like kind of reasonable. Let's try like this. See how it goes. This matchup's still pretty tough, I think, on whole. But I think you still get there a lot of the time. Oh, we probably shouldn't be on Quiver. That's okay though. So I think what we're gonna do here. I kind of actually like this hand. Is that crazy? I feel like we should probably like pitch 2 Aurora Blues just so we can like Arsenal the King Shark. But the nice part is they are presenting 70 cards into us, which is very good. The only regrettable thing is I'm running the Abyssal Quiver, which I think I'm not supposed to run in this matchup. I think I generally prefer Rustling if we're going first. It looks like they're going to start with Tipple. Oh, discarding a Loan Shark. Interesting. No hook as well. Well, I think that's pretty good for us. Let me also fix this card real quick. All right, can't complain about what. I'm also kind of curious why they didn't. Oh, Call to the Grave. I guess that makes sense. Sure. So why did they not want to? Just like played the loan shark out or something. All right, very interesting. So we don't technically have to block the sob loans if we don't want to, because we will be actually stealing the gold next turn. The only question is then, like, what do we want to arsenal next? I think we're kind of fine just taking, like, 6 here. Plus, they're on the fatigue plan, so I don't think we have to be worried about dying necessarily. This could actually be a really interesting game. All right, let's go ahead and start with the mutiny, which they cannot deny here because they can only sack 1 gold. But Mutiny's still really, really good in this matchup. I do enjoy it a lot. And then we can actually go ahead and just like Hammerhead here. These are both whatever. I think what I want to do is try to set up this like blue fit in Arsenal so that we can kind of threaten the ability to like block and maybe just try to kill their Soblins next turn with like Sea Lace or something. But this feels like a pretty strong opener at least. We do still have to like deal with the Soblins at some point, but we do have a bit of time. We don't have to kill it like right away necessarily. But yeah, important thing to note is I really don't like Quiver in this matchup, or like the Abyssal Quiver. I think if we like had the ability to wrestle on that opening turn, it would have been really good for us. Okay, seems like they're going to give us some blocks here and the Sawbones as well. Okay, getting running Fiddler's Green as well, which is kind of interesting. At least the nice part is they're kind of like tapping down the Sawbones, so I'm like kind of okay with that. That being said, they will get the chance to maybe play out a Swabby next turn, so he still could be in a little bit of trouble. But we did actually end up stealing some gold, which I think is also kind of nice for us. Oh, loot the arsenal, okay. Do we care about that? Because, like, if we lose the bluefin, is that bad for us? I'd say it's, like, probably not ideal, and when we can just, like, kill a Sawbones and kind of get it out of the way and maybe just set a Codex, I think I'm, like, kind of okay just, like, blocking a bit here. I think block seems kind of reasonable. We're still going to go for like a little bit the aggro plan, but I think taking off turn to like clear the Sawbones is like kind of fine, especially when they're limited on gold. I don't think there's like a super compelling reason to try to like be super aggro here. And Sawbones does add up over time, so we're maybe like wasting 4 damage here, but in the long run, we probably actually make up for that, hopefully. All right, so let's go into Arsenal's Codex. I do probably want to try to ignore this, the Swabby if we can here. Oh, Portside discarding Portside, interesting. Huh. Opponent might be trying to get like a Chum or something also online here. Okay, they will go for the Chum, makes sense. It's definitely annoying, but we can take a little bit of an off turn to clear it. Now the question is, do we have anything to use with this Sunken Treasure? Not necessarily, but the nice part is they kind of aren't hooking this. So we could just like activate Hammerhead and kind of see what they do here. If they don't draw like an ally to discard the Chum, then we just get to kind of go face. So I kind of want to like actively make them use the Chum here. And just remember, we're trying to play this aggressively. So try to ignore like the quiver of Abyssal Depths here. We are just kind of trying to go face at this point. It seems like they're going to opt to eat the 12, which maybe indicates they probably don't have any like attack actions in hand, but we'll at least get a peek. Oh, they do have attack actions in hand. Okay. Now we are gaming, so we'll go ahead and take that Conqueror. I think that seems like a nice pickup here. I'm kind of surprised they didn't block anything, but in this case, I think we want to try to deny them hitting the ally off the top, so we'll leave them with the Swell and the Ley Line, and just take the Jittery Bones. It's just kind of like their independently best card there. But that was a very, very good hit. I'm actually surprised they didn't. I guess they couldn't have chummed, right? But still ends up being very, very good for us. Oh, and now we have the Swell as well. Okay. Lots of exciting cards happening here. So just going to come in for 9, which is basically just vanilla damage. We don't even have to necessarily worry about the hook here. So I think we're just going to eat it here and just try to gamble with this swell. What we can actually do is potentially put cheating on the swell and then just take care of the chum right away. It's actually kind of tempting. We might actually just like bait them here. If they chum and they don't have like the fearless. Huh. Okay, so they didn't fall for the bait, but we're still gonna try to clear chum just because it's kind of annoying. Oh, we hit the blue. Oh my god, this card's so cracked. I've missed running swell, especially in this matchup. This matchup swell is like so much fun. Very good for us. I forgot cheating was also just like an on hit. Crazy. So now we get to also just like follow up with the hook and then keep a King Kraken for arsenal. Swell, when it hits, Swell is like kind of one of the best cards in the game. When it doesn't hit, it's a little bit lackluster. But it still ends up being like insane for us. We've just like denied them gold like every turn of the game, and then we're also just kind of hitting with them with disruption. The only bad part is if they are able to get together some kind of like crazy turn here, or if we like end up whiffing, then we can definitely still kind of lose from this position. But it still feels like very, very good. Good spot to be in, I think, especially with all of our armor. Okay, they will at least attempt to get some gold here with Sunken, but if they don't full cover, then we do get to just steal it right back. Okay, they have a Blood in the Water, sure. So that will nicely probably cover up the on-hit here so they don't have to worry about hook. And then Oyston is not the end of the world. I think the Swabby might start to get annoying here, but we can probably still ignore it for a bit. Okay, starting on the Rebel. Sure. So I imagine here they probably just have like a blue. They may like want to play out the Oyston swing Swabby or something. But the nice part is they can't hook, or they can't safely hook at least. So I think we're going to still just ignore the damage. We are getting pretty low, so like I don't want to sound like I'm too confident this game. I do just think we're in a pretty good spot with our gold management. We might unfortunately give them balance value this turn, which could be like a little scary. We'll kind of see like how the turn kind of ends up here. Sorry. Whoops. Whoa. Okay. That was, I meant to play the trophy shot, but then I like blanked to play the Kraken instead. Okay, this should be fine. So let's go ahead and just do this. All right, they don't really have any allies in the bin, so like C4 salvage is kind of pointless. We could actually just deny the balance value and go up an arsenal here if we wanted to. Like, we do have to use this gold at some point this game, but we don't necessarily have to do it right now. And like, if we draw cards, then we're also like, if we choose not to draw here, then we're also kind of like denying them an extra card, which could be pretty impactful. So 17 should still be pretty good here. 17 and denying the balance seems very strong, especially if we can also like maybe steal this gold as well. Lots of pretty good hits for us at this point in the game. And going off an arsenal is also just really strong if they end up drawing like a conk or something. All right, looks like they're going to gravy, discard the rigor mortis. So kind of hope that they don't have a hand that's like all attack actions or something like that. Still kind of do need to hit a little bit here. But if we are hitting, we're at least denying the Sunken Treasure gold, which is also pretty strong. One thing to also note this game is that we've not drawn a 3 of a kind. I'm just now noticing this, which is, I'd say, definitely important in this matchup because it lets you like block a little bit and then also send damage, which is probably why we're a little bit on the lower end here. 3 of a kind also just super important with New Horizons. I guess like 3 of a kind is pretty good. We're almost like nearly halfway through our deck, if not more. It's been 5 turns, so yeah, basically halfway through the deck at this point. All right, and they have Golden Tipple and a Murderous Rebel. So most likely just taking probably like 10 damage next turn. So we're getting to kind of the danger zone. All right, we did at least soak up 1 extra damage here. So unfortunately, this next turn we might have to like turn on their balance, but we do have a really good hand. Oh, and are they gonna just like reed hook this? Oh, they might just play out Rigor and then okay, sure. We might end up popping a lot of gold this next turn. I think I'm also fine just like letting them steal a little bit of gold here. So they get 1 gold, but we get to fire back with like a pretty decent kind of salvo here. The only issue is obviously the New Horizons. I almost like, we're at the point in the game where I kind of just like need to get this out of the way, I think. There's also like some merit to blocking the cheating. But I almost feel like we just like let them have the gold because we are probably going to threaten the ability to kind of take it back here. And keeping 2 blues is also very, very strong. So I think we'll go down to 6 here, but we are starting to get very, very low. Kind of just need to draw some of our better cards in the deck at this point. Like I'd take, I think we pitched a Codex, so I'd take like Last Codex, any of the 3 Oaks. Lots of good draws here. Unfortunately, our Mutiny's not quite live here, but that's okay. Or it's never really live just because of them having access to 1 gold. They can like just activate Gravy and then we can't do anything. Okay, that's a good start. So now we can like potentially port side here. Actually, I guess port side's bad when we have trophy shot, right? So let's actually trophy shot instead here. And we're kind of just looking for like any arrow at this point. The elephant's not bad. Let's go ahead and try to draw like 1 more buff or just like random swell or something. Tipple. I don't think Tipple's unfortunately that good. But this is still okay. We can like 3-oak this and maybe potentially try to set up like an arsenal after we 3-oak, which is still pretty strong. All right, so I think we're going to go for the Bluefin Harpoon here. And I want to make sure we're not actually shuffling here. Let's actually go and arsenal the Redfin here, just in case we can hit like a conch or something. All right, let's go ahead and hook here. So we are getting a little bit low on gold, but I think it's kind of still worth it to send 15. Would have liked like 1 more buff ideally here. It seems like our 3-oaks are just like pretty deep in the deck, unfortunately. This Bluefin should still be pretty disruptive, though. So we'll see how this goes here. At the very least, we should at least leave them with no gold on their turn. And if they can't swing together like multiple allies on the same turn, then we can obviously kind of crack back pretty well. Okay, got a last-ditch effort and the balance, sure. So we should hopefully start to grab another blue here, ideally. Okay, back alley brick line's fine. And then they're just stuck with like a sea legs and a ley line. Should be fine for us. Although they do, I guess, get the balance draw, so not quite out of the woods yet. Could also potentially shuffle with the quiver, but I think that's like probably bad. Let's go ahead and just arsenal the Redfin here. I think we want to like maximize our chances of drawing the last 2 3-of-a-kinds. We should have a decent chance of doing. Oh, tip the barkeep is actually... Well, actually, it's not actually that bad because they can't use the roam this turn at least. So that is good for us. That being said, they are still swinging in for 9, which is a little bit scary. But I think in this case, we can kind of just like burst them down from here. Like we do still kind of have the lead in this spot. So I think what I'm going to do... we could actually just even give them gold here and just try to keep as many cards in hand as possible. So I almost like the idea of just like giving them almost like Sea Lace or something. Does that make sense? I think we just want to draw 3-of-a-kind here, or just like something. Like we have so much filtering that we can pretty much draw whatever. We basically just like the win condition here is basically not letting them see whatever their next turn is. So I think if that's the win condition here, we go to 1 and then we just try to send as much damage at face as possible and hope they can't block. That being said, they will still get the gold, so they can maybe like use Gravy to kind of filter the blocks, but through using Gravy, then they're not also using the rum, which is really good. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the gold crack. I think we want to try to crack 3 gold here to try to look for 3 of a kind. Any buffs? Lots of good draws, I think, in this spot. There is even a world where if we like have another harpoon, we can do like redfin into something like shallow water or whatever. Also kind of a possibility, although it might just be better to play like the rabble here. Yeah, let's go ahead and gamble a little bit more. Okay, and there's 3 of a kind. Perfect. So now we can, I think, just send a face here. We can send like 3 into 3 oak. Send 8, overpower, go again into 5. I think that wins. Or I'd be very hard pressed to imagine a hand where they can actually do anything about that. So let's go ahead and just start with the 3 oak here. Ooh, Swallow is a good draw. Kraken's fine. Actually, is Swallow a good draw? We still need the resources to do everything here, unfortunately. So we maybe crack 1 more gold. Try to look for a blue. If we don't find the blue, then it's still fine. So let's go ahead and do this. We give it go again, and then we can actually use the yellow here to potentially gamble on more damage if they can't block it. So hope they can't block the 8, but even if they do block the 8, we still get to send potentially another 6 here. So I kind of am hard-pressed to imagine a hand where they live, but maybe like 3 block plus Blood in the Water or something like that. Have a lot of good outs here, even if we don't hit... we don't kill them like on this particular swing. They do have the Sunken Treasure, unfortunately. I think this still kills, assuming that this is not D-React. And assuming that this hits it as well. There is also a world... Is it better to actually close the chain and make a gold pin here in the case that we whiff on the Kraken? I actually like that play, because then that takes the last card out of their hand, and they can't just block with like Dead Threads or something. So this is actually kind of interesting. So we would have whiffed, which is incredible, but because we actually did this, now they are forced to give us the last card in hand. I impress myself with how smart I am sometimes. I think that was like the one way that we actually could have lost the game, is by drawing a red off the top. We can't send King Kraken, and they get to like send 7 at us. But because we actually made the gold fin there, we're actually able to kill. So again, we have a couple, I think, important learnings from this matchup. So the first one is that Quiver Abyssal Depths, I don't actually like it if you're not trying to fatigue as your primary game plan. I think it's like not necessary. I think more gravy games end up going like this, where you're trying to like kind of do a lot of like pressure at your gravy opponent's face, and you're trying to like kind of burst them down just with repeated value over time, like preventing them from playing out their threats, like conquer the high seas and just dealing with the chumps and stuff. But I think this is what a lot of gravies will end up doing to you, is like basically trying to present 70 into you. But if you're not trying to fatigue them, then the 70 just makes their deck like really inconsistent, which is really good for us. But yeah, that was a pretty good showing at the gravy matchup. Let's go ahead and see if we can get another. All right, it's playing against a Jarl. I do need to practice this matchup a little bit more. So let's go ahead and bring in our Quiver, and then I actually have Base of the Mountain for this matchup, which I actually want to try. Historically, has been good in the past into Jarl, but not today. Oh, interesting. Our opponent is pitching a Crumble. Okay, they just want to like mangle for 10 on the opener. That's like kind of fine. So this kind of just damage at this point. So I think what we're going to probably try to do is just kind of gamble on Quiver, ideally. If you don't have to hit the Quiver, that's also fine. I kind of just want to try to get as much filtering here as possible, but some damage on the opener is pretty good. That being said, this Jarl, so maybe we're not that scared. Just want to try to filter there as much as possible so we can try to draw into cards like 3 of a kind, so that's very, very good. Let's go ahead and play out the 3 up here. We do have the blue fin. Ooh, and we also get a shallow water as well. Both pretty good here. Shallow water, notably, also just really good for having gold to tip on a future turn, but I don't think we even necessarily need to try to like sandbag that there or anything. I think what we can do is just probably go for the blue fin here. Blue fin for 10 with catch of the day I think is pretty sweet. Okay, looks like they want to do. Alright, looks like they are going to get a blue out of the hand, which is still really good for us. Okay, they have the staunch, but that's not that bad for us. We'll gain a little bit of life from the Fiddler's Green. So it looks like we're definitely playing against a little bit more of a defensive Jarl, but should still be fine for us, especially since we do have the base of the mountain here. Still really good. And then here we do not, unfortunately, have the ability to overpower unless we want to like just pitch a red here, which I think is probably still the play. Making gold still kind of important in Jarl. But it does feel kind of bad to just lose the shallow water with them not having an arsenal. I think so. They don't have that much earth yet, so if they do even like find a felling or something, I don't think they can necessarily play it. I guess they could like block earth card, play felling, but it would just be like a baby felling. Alright, so let's see if they have another staunch here. Okay, no staunch is good, so we go back up to 1 gold. That's perfect. Oh, another 3 of a kind. Very, very good. Oh, and taking tempo off with the crumble, also very sweet for us. I've seen a lot more Jarls actually just like get rid of Tunic or like Hook or something earlier instead of New Horizons, which I think is like kind of smart. Seems reasonable. Now the question is, do we want to just like port side here just to potentially threaten Hook this turn? I think that seems worth it. So let's go for the port side here. Okay, draw a Tipple, which is still really good. So we can load Kraken, and then I guess also just send in the 3 of a kind. I guess there's no real reason to like load it first necessarily. But it's still pretty good for us. So we can send like one of these 2 Krakens, and then just like Arsenal King Shark for next turn. Some merit to like actually arsenaling the Swell. I think that's like super necessary. 10 damage is still pretty good. Plus we can potentially prevent like Oakenol Fuse or something, so I think it's still generally correct to send Kraken here. They're like pros and cons. It kind of very much depends on like what state of the game you're in. Oh, I also forgot to hook. Ooh, that's actually a pretty big mistake. Just because we would have actually had an extra gold here. Sorry. A little bit late for me, so I am probably not on my best Marlynn gameplay right now. Alright, that's fine. So we should be up 1 gold, but that's okay. Could definitely be a difference maker here, though, which is a little scary. Let's go ahead and trophy shot here. If we draw blue, we could actually potentially gamble on the Swell. But I guess we don't need to. We could still just like gamble on the Swell anyways, because we have Tunic up. So if we whiff on the Swell, it's actually not even that bad. But we never whiff, because we're gaming, right? That's the whole point of Swell. Swell is so good when it hits. It's like crazy strong. Oh boy. Alright, but we still get some 14 here, which is really good. I'm actually going to prioritize sending the King Shark here. Even though it's like a little bit worse. King Shark's still like fine though. I want to just make sure we're like setting double arsenal here. Alright, let's go ahead and see what they got. I mentioned just like double D react makes sense to me. I think the Swell is like hit every single time we played it today, which is also very exciting. I think the card is like so good when it hits, but when it doesn't hit it is I don't know. It's a little lackluster. That's why I guess you just like always hit with it, right? Alright, Felling of the Crown, sure. So I think they can yeah, they can decompose this, that's okay. So more likely than not, just going to bottom the King Shark here, give them Sunken, and then just keep 2 cards here so we can just send 10. Felling's still pretty good. But we at least do get some gold gen back, so it's not that bad. And then this eye is actually kind of nasty because we can potentially set like a nice double ponder here. Let's actually try to ponder into that catch of the day, just so we can kind of line that up with the Kraken. All right, and then we will, I think, still opt to send for Kraken here. Kraken's still really good. All right, sending for 10. Ooh, okay, no blocks. So now we get the option between Crumble and Terra Sender. So since they don't have the ability to actually dominate, I think it's better to take the Tear. One, so they don't have Tear in their deck, and two, so that they don't have more Earth Fuel in case they need to decompose like another Felling here or something. But we ponder in the catch, which is really good, and then we just get to set that for next turn. Oh, we have a fantastic next turn. Okay, it seems like they may want to just like send the Mangle instead. That's also reasonable. So the only unfortunate part here is we kind of do want to block this to some extent. Could just get like 6 block here. And then just like send Kraken pitch Codex, but that does feel like a little bad. Could also just like let them have the Tunic. I think letting them have the Tunic is like also pretty reasonable here. It does like feel like kind of whatever. Tunic is pretty good. It's not that good. Plus, I don't think they're going to be like making many Frostbites against us, it kind of seems like. And I want to make sure we just like hold on to the tempo here as much as possible. So we lose Tunic, which is not the end of the world here, I think. So let's go ahead and just keep sending some Krakens here. Still are at like a pretty good gold advantage here. And we cheat through like a lot of the armor at this point. It's like actually kind of fine. Okay, it looks like they're going to pitch 2 Ice Lock Glaives. I guess that is one of the ways they could potentially make a Frostbite here. Okay, we just have 2 Fruits of the Forest. We might be dealing with like another Felling here, worst case scenario, but that hand by itself is not very scary. Sift is like kind of whatever, but I think it's still like a fine arsenal. Oh, frozen to death. Okay. Well, I'm kind of glad we blocked with the Tunic now. Sure. It's a pretty weak arsenal. So I think in this case, let's go ahead and just play the Golden Tip. Maybe just turn over something with Seafloor Salvage. We don't really have any great targets on their end, so I think we're just going to take a yellow. I still like try to prioritize yellows in this matchup. Whoops. Not that one. So I still try to prioritize our yellows over just like their random non-yellow Earth card or whatever. Gold generation is important. This 3 oak should still be really good here. And I think we might even just try to gamble for something like a little bit more impactful here. Let's go and bottom like the salvage and see if we can draw something a little bit better. Okay. Didn't really draw anything great, but we can still just like Arsenal Portside here for this next turn, which is pretty good. Then we did make a gold, so we can hook. Only downside is they might be able to balance us this turn, so maybe they can like balance us, draw like Oakenol Fuse or something crazy like that, but still in a really good spot here, I think. Plus, we just have Base of the Mountain, which will just hose anytime they kind of try to go for an Oakenold. Okay, Pulse is fine, and then do they have anything else? Looks like no. Okay, CNC Plowender, not that bad. Do we even just have the potential to, like, let them destroy our arsenal here? Might not be the worst thing in the world. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of just, like, letting them have the arsenal. Portside's not the biggest deal in the world. Plus, we just have a bunch of resources next turn to send a decent, like, shallow water here, so... Oh, They didn't even arsenal, so I guess we now go for the Kraken instead. Okay, I'll go the tip and then just send 14 or 13 rather. Seems pretty good. So they're definitely like kind of more of a mid-range Jarl with like a fatigue plan in the board or something like that. All right, keeping an Autumn's Touch. Oh, we're still getting them pretty low here. Ooh, and Ataya big game. This is like a very good hand. So this next hand might just kill them here. And again, we can't really ever lose to Oakenold in the spot is like kind of the nice thing here. Codex is good. I might actually want to try to like hold on to that. Okay, cheating is an awkward draw. I want to draw like one more blue, and then we can just send 17. There's one more blue. Perfect. And I think here we're even just going to YOLO hook, just because I don't think they can cover 17. Seems unlikely, but stranger things, I guess, have happened. They managed to cover 17 on an Ataya. I think they've earned it. It's my opinion. They could definitely, if they have like Staunch. I don't know. Some combination of staunches or some other things. All right, but looks like they will just die for exact C's, which is also very nice. Seems pretty good. 114 damage threatened. Did a pretty good job, I think, managing our gold that game. I do think we missed out on that one gold that one turn, which definitely could have added up over kind of the course of the game. But I think we overall played that pretty tight otherwise. So not a bad Jarl matchup. Again, we didn't even really use base them out in that game, so like might not be a necessity, but I do think it's like a good insurance policy against Jarl. It's like one of the ways you can lose to Jarl is just by having them have like back-to-back Oaken turns. That's like the one way you kind of lose. So I do like having like base them out as kind of like a little bit of insurance policy. All right, but that's going to go ahead and do it for today. So again, kind of busy this week, so this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video, but I hope you all enjoyed the games. Again, just a reminder that if you want to send in some gameplay footage, feel free to either join the Flesh and Bat Discord and then just like ping me for some games on that. Ideally, record it via OBS. You can also DM me directly if you just have me from like Purple Discord or whatever. But I want to try to see if we can get some VOD reviews at some point this week because I think that would be kind of fun to do. Just do some like coaching or kind of VOD review type things. Seems kind of fun. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. And a special thank you to all the folks who decided it would be a good idea to give us $2 on Patreon. We really appreciate the support, but it's obviously never required.